In the room, last chance if you don't at 2,500. So
There you go.
287.
What just done?
Well, we've just bought our first vehicle from auction. That's alright actually. Oh, where's it? Just got the road, is it? Yes! Shagging it up. Well, reversing it. Check all the lights and whatnot. I quite like that actually. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So, by the clips you've just seen, me and Lauren have only gone and bought our first auction purchase. Now, where it all started was we were visiting WB & Sons classic car auction in Newcastle, and we went up there to purchase a vehicle to do the NC500 in. If you don't know what the NC500 is, it's basically a tour of Scotland. There's all scenic roads, beautiful scenery. So we're looking at estates and just cars that were bigger in general, so we could try and sleep in them. But then Lauren come across this 1996 VW T4 Caravelle, and yeah, we started looking around it, got excited, thought about all the plans we could do to it, and ended up getting a bidding card. Before we knew it, the auction was flowing and the T4 was up. It had one bid, and then I put my hands up, only to go and win it. I didn't expect that, and yeah, was pretty shocked but excited at the same time. Now, bear in mind, we purchased this van from Newcastle and we live down in Hertfordshire, so it's about a 250-mile trip, if not longer. So I give the van a quick once over, check the lights, check the tyres, checked all the fluids. Lauren had to drive my Mark IV Fiesta van home. I insured and taxed it, and off we went. It was a bit of a risky move because I didn't really know much history about the van, but we done it and we made it, didn't we?
Yeah.
Without further ado, let's take a little look around our first auction purchase. So here it is. The long title for it is a VW T4 Caravelle Club 8. Now, I can only presume the Club 8 refers to the amount of seats that are in the back. As you can see, it's a short wheelbase model, so it's short at the back. It doesn't have the extra bit to make it the long wheelbase. So these T4s were built in Hanover, Germany, and the T4s were built between 1990 and 2003. Our one was built in 1996. And a fun little fact, the T4s were the first VW van with a water-cooled front-mounted engine. All the vans before that were rear-mounted air-cooled engines. Right, let's have a look under the bonnet. Now, these came in loads of different variants, petrol and diesel. If I could push the button. So what we've got here is a 2.4 diesel engine. It's a 5-cylinder inline single overhead cam engine, and the bay looks reasonably clean. I mean, you've got some air ducting that's a bit loose and loads of wires going to the battery where people have added immobilizers, subwoofers and all of that stuff in the past, but that can all be neatened up. But overall, the engine bay is fairly respectable. No signs of any rust along the scuttle, because I know they rust quite badly along there. And another thing that might surprise you is this is quite a high mileage van with 208,000 miles on the clocks. So let's have a little look around the bodywork. As you can see, most of the panels are really faded. They've, yeah, what are they? 25 years old, older than 25 years. So I don't think this has seen a machine polisher ever, but it's reasonably presentable. I'm definitely going to get my polisher out and make all this dull paintwork shiny again. As we move towards the back of the T4, this is where some of the dodgy paintwork starts to come out. So this rear arch has been repaired. I had a sneaky peek behind the door cards, and both of the rear arches have been welded. I guess new panels have been put in, but the bodywork has been neglected. They've just slapped some filler on top, and then yeah, they haven't really done a good job, but it's all stuff that can be improved and repaired. Now, since we've had the van back, we haven't had it long, couple of days, and I was having a little experiment, and as you can see here, I just had a bit of polish on a microfiber, and that paintwork has already come up 100 times better than the faded rest of the rear quarter. Now, as we come round to the back of the T4, this is probably the worst panel bodywork wise. These lines are meant to be really defined and nice and straight, but they're a little bit wobbly. Someone's definitely tried to have a go at repairing it, or maybe it's had a little dent in there before. It's not the best, and I would like to replace the whole boot tailgate if there was one reasonably priced, but if not, we can repair that as well. As we come down here, you will notice that it's got a private number plate. So this come with the sale of the vehicle. The previous owner didn't take the private number plate off for whatever reason. And I'm just reading down here that it's got Oban, Scotland at the bottom of it. And the front number plate has a PA postcode, which refers to Western Scotland. So it's, yeah, lived in Scotland for some part of its life. I just got the book pack out to check how many former keepers the T4 has had, and it's had 7 previous keepers, which isn't too bad. As for the documentation that came with the T4, it was very limited. There was hardly anything. You've got all your standard books, but we haven't got a service book in there, just stereo stuff and an instruction manual. But one thing that did come with the T4 was a welding bill, which the previous owner forked out nearly £2,000 for at the start of this year. Another bonus as well, got a tow bar at the rear, so if I ever get a trailer, we can start picking our auction purchases up and we won't have to tax and insure them. Anyway, as we make our way around to the offside of the vehicle, you can see that it's got windows all the way round, and that's part of the feature of it being a Caravelle minibus, that it's already got the windows in it. And if we look just down here, we can see this arch as well. The bodywork is really rough. I'd probably say this side is the worst. I don't think a professional has done this. I think it's been a bit of a DIY job, if I do say so myself. But as for the rest of this side, it's fairly decent. This middle panel will just need a machine polish along with the door. And I nearly forgot to mention these wheels. So I'm not too sure what make these wheels are. I've seen VW ones that look very, very similar, but I think these are some pattern alloy wheels, which doesn't matter. They do the job for now. And all of the tyres look to be nearly new, which was a bonus when buying it from auction. Considering we've drove it all the way from Newcastle back to Hertfordshire, I was happy that it had fresh rubber all round. Now hopefully the van doesn't let me down, because it's been sitting on the drive for a couple of days, but I just want to prove to you guys and show you really how good it is. It starts better than my Mark IV Fiesta van, which is a diesel as well. There we go. So here is the cockpit. As you can see, someone has fitted a Sparco steering wheel. Not too sure why. They've also got some air horns connected. Oh, need the ignition on for that. But anyway, the dashboard area I really like. It's a retro van, I would say, or it would class itself as a retro van. All of the dash clocks are all square. This is all nice and boxy. That's just what I love. It's got a aftermarket Sony radio in here, which doesn't work, so I had to spend 4 hours talking to myself on the way back from Newcastle. But apart from that, there's nothing out of the ordinary here. All the seats are just the standard type. The bolster on the passenger seat is all nice and good, but unfortunately the bolster over on the driver's seat is starting to wear, but you can easily get seat covers for these seats anyway. Now I know what you're all thinking right now. Mitch, why on earth did you buy the VW T4? Now, there's no denying it's a popular van. From tradesmen to motorhome lovers, A lot of people have owned these. In fact, the Transporter has sold over 12 million units worldwide. It's known as the best-selling van in history. But why do I want one? Now, the main reason is because me and Lauren go to a lot of auctions these days, and we also like our camping. So what we're going to do to the T4 is we're going to turn it into a camper van. So without further ado, I'm going to show you what the back looks like at the moment, and then we'll get to stripping it out. Now, caravel means minibus, and this is a 7-seater, so it's not a camper van yet, but there is something that the previous owner installed which makes it a little bit more like a camper van. So a funny thing about this minibus is the seats go down and they're completely loose. So I think someone must have just dumped these in here before the sale. So as you can see, you can't have these seats bolted to the floor to be able to put this bed down. That's the bed down completely. And then you've got these, I think we read IKEA, weren't they? They're from IKEA. Sort of, I don't know what you call them, pillow furnishing bits.
Kind of thing.
And that is your bed. As you can see, there's plenty of room in here. I am quite tall though, so look, my legs are sort of dangling off the edge of the wooden part. So there we go, me and Lauren have made a really drastic start to our T4 ownership by stripping out the back. We've got lots of plans and we've been already buying stuff to put in the back of it, which might be the reason why we've got the curtain closed. So this has been our first classic auction purchase. It was a really straightforward process up at WB & Sons. I bid £2,500 for this van because I think overall it's pretty tidy. The bodywork needs a little bit of attention and there's a couple of parts that need changing, but overall it's not too bad. Now they charge a 7.5% fee plus VAT, so in the end I paid around about £2,700 for the van, which I don't think is too bad, especially when we've got our plans to convert it into a camper van and use it for many years to come. Anyway, if you did enjoy this video, please give it a like, and if you like what you see, subscribe to the channel to see more. Thank you all for watching, and until the next one, we'll see you guys later.
Mm.